Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fifth live stream on the Free Humans World channel, where I not only talk about how blockchain and AI are shaping the future of Web3, but also where I use these advanced technologies to develop a true decentralized application, basically a Web3 social network with user driven value distribution. So, for this live stream, the title is an interesting and funny one, and it's one of my favorite questions um, to think about. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Right. So that's a question that philosophers have asked for a lot of time since they started thinking about it. Right. This question, this problem. Right. And the answer that I like for this question is one that is given by Alan Watts. Um, Alan Watts says something like this. He says that basically the egg is just a way for the chicken to become a chicken again, right? And so it's just a process, a way by which a chicken can continue to be a chicken, right? It's basically everything, the essence of a chicken, the shape, the not necessarily the shape, but the creature itself, right? The creation, the creature itself is continuing its existence through this method of perpetuating, right? Now, what does that have to do with Web3 or freehumans.world or blockchain or AI? Well, it's basically, it all comes down to our our process when we develop these type of systems, right? Are they autonomous? Are they self-perpetuating? Are they able to withstand the test of time? And are they able to form into this type of, let's say, like a living cell, right? Because in an egg, it doesn't matter if it's a chicken egg or if it's a human egg, right? Where the two parts, the oval and the sperm cell, come together, and in that union they create a process where a lot of cells are being created, an explosion of cells to become a shape. It could be a human, it could be another mammal or animal, it could be another creature, another being, I guess. But whether the being is organic in nature or it's artificially created like an AI or some sort of system that resembles this situation, we have to make sure that this creation is stable, the system is stable, it's sustainable basically, and it develops smoothly over time, just like the chicken has to nurture the egg, right, to keep it safe and warm, so that the cells start multiplying and they start becoming this thing, right? This creature that will continue the process, right? And so, in order for us to create sustainable technologies, sustainable basically systems that help us thrive instead of systems that are used by other people to exploit the majority of humans, yeah, we got to make sure that we understand this process really well. So, the first thing that I would like to show you is basically, again, I will show these simulations that I'm about to show you for probably every now and then in the live stream, because it's a very important way of visualizing what is happening. And let me share the screen first. All right, so now what you're going to see, and I have shown this in a previous live stream, but I want to show you basically a simulation, a very simple simulation with simple parameters, but that acts like a living system, like a living organism. And you will see in the simulation, I did not program these the cells that you will see. I did not program them to act in this way. Most of the parameters are about a range of randomness, right? So every action, every decision that is taken by these individual cells that you will see are basically random, and they are between a range of values, but they are random. And so randomness can create sort of these living systems that we can see in this simulation, and also in reality you will see it's very similar to living systems, living cells. So what I did is I tried to research and study and get some information about how can you create a sustainable tokenomics model, right? We talk about tokenomics in blockchain, we talk about tokenomics in crypto, right? But most projects so far, from what I have seen, and I'm not generalizing, I'm saying just most projects have not considered or spent any time really, any considerable amount of time into creating sustainable tokenomics or even understanding what tokenomics is, right? It's the basically the mathematics, the algorithms, the economy behind any sort of these new recipes for a Web3 decentralized application or business model, right? And you cannot create a Web3 application or business model or service if you don't follow these principles, which they are all related to decentralization, right? Like I have a quick slide that I can show you here in one of our pitches. You will see basically at page, what page is it? Let me see. It's right over here, right? So if I go full screen, basically these are the principles, the guiding principles that we have to use, and I've come to understand this. We have to use in these new generation of applications, Web3 applications. Otherwise, you cannot really call them Web3 applications, because Web3 is the period that just started for the internet, for the evolution of the internet, where we have not only reading capability like we had up until year 2000 when we had only websites and web directories, not only reading and writing capability like we had after the year 2000 with the evolution of social media, right? Where the users could upload the content, and so the users uh, were enabled to write to the internet, not just read, right? But unfortunately, there was a problem with that because they didn't own the content or anything, their information. And so these companies, in their terms and conditions, which nobody read, basically got ownership over everything, right? Our content, our personal information, everything. And they can do whatever they want with it. And that's not cool. I mean, we gave them the basically the power and the authority to exploit us as sheep, as chickens, right? As they exploited us as chickens for the eggs, right? The eggs that we produce. And so that's not cool. We need to realize that today we have the technology with blockchain and AI to decentralize basically what we're creating, the apps that we're creating, the services, the interfaces. Because like Facebook, Twitter, all these Web2 social media platforms that have dominated the internet, they're nothing but an interface, right? Because in the beginning, I can understand, it was research and development, it was the early days. You spent a lot of money from investors to research, to develop these platforms, and a lot of employees to manage all the different systems and the users and support, right? But today, that's not necessary. Like, because we have blockchain and because we have distributed software and distributed storage of information, we can basically mitigate the costs of infrastructure, so we don't need to pay for tens of millions of dollars per month for expensive huge data centers across the planet, cloud systems, right? We don't have to pay for anything really. Like, we just have to write code as a small team, right? Or even one individual can do it. I'm starting to do it, right? I started already with freehumans.world, and so I'm doing it open source so that others can join the effort. And I want to see this technology out there. I'm not doing it for profit, for money. I just want to see it launched, and I want to see it available, and I want to be part of a social media network that gives back everything to the users and not just siphons all the value outside the network, right? So we can decentralize basically the cost of storage of information. We can decentralize everything. We just need to write code and make sure that the code is stable and the application is secure and it's efficient and it can scale quickly to millions, eventually billions of users, right? All right, so getting back to basically, let me close this, to the simulations, because I want you to see in Web3, right? I'm going to start with Web3 and then I'm going to switch back to Web2 and all the other ones. So in Web3, because we decentralize everything, not just the software, the information that is like the application is not just running on one server in a data center or a few servers in a cloud formation, right? Uh, the application will be running on every computer, every laptop, every mobile device that the user will access it from. So a copy of the application will be running on thousands and thousands of computers across the planet, eventually more, right, as we grow the user base. And so everyone owns a piece of the app, and all the apps talk to each other. And so if they talk to each other, they can basically, just like torrent files, like torrent protocol works, you can send anything like a video and image to the user that needs it, that wants to read it, that is accessing the video or the image or the sound or anything else, right? So we can do that nowadays. And what you see here is actually relevant for both information storage, but also for value store, like money, right? Money has different shapes. It's in different currencies. It's in different assets, right? There's value everywhere. It's the wealth, the total diversity of type of money, right, and assets equate to the wealth of an individual, the wealth of an organization, a company, a society, a country, and the wealth of the world, of humanity, right? So if you really think about it, like not like over a little bit over 10 years ago, I think we had basically 1% of humanity owning 99% of all human created wealth globally, right? So that was a very, very bad situation. But like in today, that has dropped. Like I predicted almost 10 years ago, I predicted that there's a colossal wealth transfer going, like a vertical transfer going from the tip of the pyramid to all the levels below it, because now it's 1% owns 50% of all wealth, right? So it dropped substantially. Like we are in a very big transition. Like the boomer generation, boomers, the old generation, is now losing value, is losing the value that they accumulated when they made the money. And today they are, I guess, so uh, disconnected to what is going on, to all these new technologies, that they don't understand them, they fear them, right? So they are fighting against them, right, these new technologies, and they're not allowing us, the younger generation, not necessarily me, I'm 37, but like Gen Z and younger, I are aware of this, and they're looking for alternatives, and they don't exist. So people are working on this probably just as I am, but I don't see anyone coming up with this type of decentralized application, which should basically manage and tackle that wealth gap even more, right? So we don't want, because like this wealth gap is responsible for a lot of inequity and suffering in the world, right? Because it's basically like greed concentrated in one place, in a group of people, billionaires, all those people at the top at the pyramid. It's a hierarchy, right? They enjoy life as money is not a problem for them. They're gods. Some of them are not. They're contributing, they're giving back to the people, to the biosphere, especially to the whole planet, right? But a lot of them are not doing that. They're actually trying to find ways so that we can suffer even more. I don't know how to put it. It's just like they think we are too many on the planet, and they want us to be less than too many, right? So think about it, like Bill Gates and all these billionaires that think that the planet, that the we are like the planet is overpopulated by humans, right? And there's too many humans. We have to make them be less human. A lot of reduce the population somehow, right? What do you think? Why do you think they're saying that? Like, what would make a human being say like, okay, I can understand the logic that human beings are basically educated or not educated to protect the environment, to protect the biosphere, because of the schooling system, the education system that has failed us. Actually, the education system created slave work, basically, cogs in a system, right? We needed factory workers 200